Part 2. I feel like this is the weirdest transition.
Just Chanel here.
Bam, we're gonna go ahead and just get right into the pay questions. Is it hourly pay? Yes, it is hourly pay. Being a flight attendant, you get paid hourly. It is not necessarily, wait, this is a bad, I don't know, hold on. Yeah, it's not necessarily salary. Now, this can get kind of tricky to understand because you're guaranteed a certain amount of hours every month. So it is salary because you're gonna get paid those hours, but you actually have to work those hours, because if you don't work those hours, they're gonna take the difference out of your next pay. Does that make sense? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Next question. Okay, so how much do you get paid? So this, actually, we're just gonna put this all in one. Question 22, is it hourly and how much do you get paid? So pay varies on your seniority. Most flight attendants, ow! I just bit it inside of my, wow, this kind of hurts. Wait. Most flight attendants get raises pretty often, okay? I mean, more than like a traditional job. Every airline pays differently. So I have no idea what other airlines make. I do know that I think it's, pretty good pay. Now, what I will say is pay as a flight attendant is a little bit different, because you may be at work for 15 hours, but you may only be getting paid for 7 of those hours, because flight attendants are paid based on flight time. So when you see us walking in the airport in the concourse and we're grabbing our Chick-fil-A or our coffee, we're not getting paid for that time. So although I may go to work at 7 a.m., oh wait, perfect example. I'm just gonna use my trip from yesterday. So I signed into work at 5 a.m. and I worked 3 flights. I went from Atlanta to LaGuardia, LaGuardia to Detroit, and then Detroit to Atlanta. I was done with work at like 3:05, 3:10. I worked about 10 hours, right? But the Atlanta to LaGuardia flight is like an hour and a half, but it's blocked at about 2 hours and some change. Same thing with LaGuardia to Detroit, and then with Detroit to Atlanta, they're all around 2 hours. So although I worked 10 hours yesterday, I was at work for 10 hours, my pay is only going to reflect like 6.5 hours of that, because that is what the flight time is. Does that make sense? It can be kind of tricky because even though I'm working a 10 or 14-hour workday, I may only be getting paid 6 or 10 hours for that time period. These are things that you're not gonna really be able to calculate until you become a flight attendant, because it's just kind of difficult. If you're used to working a 40-hour work week, then you're used to working 160 hours per month. There is no way that I'm working 160 hours per month as a flight attendant, not on paper. Now, yes, I am physically at work for 160 hours for sure, but if I was flying 160 hours, do y'all know how rich I would be? Okay. But anyway, yeah, most flight attendants we average around 80 to 90 hours per month. That's what most people fly, but that equates to almost 200 hours per month is like what we're working, boarding, deplaning, walking concourse to concourse, changing planes, layovers, all of that, It's like, we're at work a lot. We're there for a long time, but we only get paid for flight time. It's not as bad as it seems, I promise. I wouldn't be living life so great if it was. Moving on. Question 23. Do you get paid for layovers? No. Basic answer, no, you do not get paid for layovers. And I'm saying no because you're not gonna get paid your normal flight pay to go just be sitting at the hotel. No. Now, there is some sort of pay rate for layovers. They're not gonna have you away from home on business and not paying you something. You are getting paid something, but it is nowhere near what your flight pay will be. As a flight attendant, there are so many different pay rates. Like, there's flight pay rates, and that all depends on seniority. There's pay rates for layovers. There's pay rates for international. There's pay rates if you're flying lead. There's pay rates for different training, and there's pay rates for everything, I promise y'all. but they all vary. So yeah, you're getting paid on your layover, but you're not getting paid that much. So if you really want to be technical, like, no, you're really not getting paid the same amount. You're not going to be making $50 an hour on your layover to like sleep. They're not going to pay you to sleep. Okay, question 24. Do you have to pay for your hotels on layovers? Absolutely not. I would be broke. No, do y'all know how much hotels are? And we be in some nice hotels, like some real nice hotels. So no, the company puts you in a hotel. They provide accommodations for you on the layovers. It's just like any other business travel. If you're traveling for your company for a week, like Monday through Thursday, they're gonna give you a hotel, or you're gonna use some sort of business account. But with flight attendants, they have our hotels and like our transportation to and from the hotels set up already, so we don't even have to worry about that. Number 25. This is like my favorite question. It's so like, what? Okay, so question 25. Is the pay enough to live off of? Now, do y'all really think there would be hundreds, thousands of flight attendants if the pay was not enough to live off of? Do y'all see what we'd be doing? We'd be out, okay? I got a whole little house right here, y'all. Like, come on, yeah. It's a career, it's a job, it's enough to live off of. I feel like if it wasn't enough to live off of, people wouldn't aspire to do it. People don't fly as a flight attendant for 50 years and don't make money. Like, yeah. Question 26, do you get to fly for free? Yes, as a flight attendant, you get to fly for free. I think that's like the simple answer. Yeah, you get to fly for free. Now, a lot of people know already that you do have to pay taxes if you're flying international, and that all has to just do with that particular country, I think. 27, can my friends and family fly for free? Simple answer, yes, absolutely they can. Your family, let's start there. We're talking immediate family. So your parents, your children, your offspring, absolutely. If you want to take your kid to Disney World, they don't have to pay. They just gonna come with you. Like, come on, ride, little Johnny, let's go. As far as friends, there is something called a companion pass. I want to say it's called a companion pass across the board with all the different airlines. But a companion pass, you're able to designate someone to be your companion and fly with you. This can be anybody. It can be your best friend. It can be your brother, your sister, your man. It can be whoever you want. It can be your grandmother, because your grandparents do not get to, fly for free. They're not your parents. A companion pass is great. If you are married, however, you do not have a companion pass. Your companion is automatically your spouse, so you don't get both. There is something called a buddy pass, and a lot of people do not understand a buddy pass, but you still have to pay for it. It's really just a discounted ticket, and sometimes it's not worth it. So when you're hopping in flight attendants DMs and you're like, yo, can I get a buddy pass? It's not a free ticket. You gotta pay, okay? Because they don't even let us book the buddy pass till it's paid for. Like, ain't no flight. It's really a paid for ticket, legit. Question 28, what benefits come with the job? Just like any other career, you get 401k, medical, dental, vision. We also get quite a few like hotel, vacation, travel benefits, just because we work with a lot of, or not work with, but partner with a lot of other companies. So like hotel brands like Marriott and Hilton will provide discounts to most airlines. And yeah, I mean, you kind of just get, it's like a reputable company, most airlines, like mainline carriers. So most of the times you'll kind of get discounts all over. Question 29, do you get free Wi-Fi on the planes as a flight attendant? This question kind of tickled me a little bit because I've never even thought about it. Like, I feel we should get free Wi-Fi, but we do not. And I think that's mainly because we're not supposed to use our personal phones anyway. Even when I travel for pleasure, I do not get free Wi-Fi. So if I want Wi-Fi for a long flight, I do have to pay for it. However, we get free Wi-Fi on our work devices, which of course is strictly for work. So we connect to like a secure network. That way we can use our work phones in the air. Question 30, how many days off do I get each month? So I get anywhere from like 10 to 13 days off per month, which I think is amazing. Some months I'll get even more, like 15. Most flight attendants work 15 to 16 days a month. I think that's the next question. Question 31, how many days do you work? So yeah, most flight attendants work anywhere from like 14 to 17 days per month, 17, 18 sometimes. It really just depends on the needs of the operation. And summer is when you're going to like work the most, I would say. You'll probably work anywhere, if you're junior, you'll work anywhere from like 18 to 19 days per month. But in the fall and winter, you may only work 14, 15 days out of the month. So it just kind of varies, but you will have more days off than most people, for sure. And along with that question, with question 31, how many hours do I work? I work about 80 hours. Most flight attendants work anywhere from like 70 to 90 hours per month. Question 32, do you get to choose your schedule? So you don't necessarily get to choose your schedule. You can, what we call, bid for your schedule, and everything in the airline industry, aviation, is seniority based. You can bid for what you want. You say, okay, I want to lay over in Houston on the 8th of August. You can ask for that. You can say, I want trips that are worth 18 hours, flight hours. I want to be off on the 23rd. Because I have a concert to go to, whatever. You can ask for those things. That doesn't necessarily mean you will get them, because most of the bidding systems work, of course, seniority order. So they're going to award the senior people what they want first. But it also works off of kind of like a point system. It's hard to explain, but you can definitely ask for what you want. And as long as you're not asking for like, you have to be reasonable. As a junior flight attendant, most of the times you will not be able to hold like weekends off. But like I said, in the winter time, it gets a little bit easier, and you may be able to hold like 2 Saturdays off per month. It also depends on your base, because although everyone is one airline, your base, like there's different flights out of certain bases. So some bases you will have better schedules than others. Atlanta probably has one of the most challenging schedules, let me just say. Okay, question 32. What bases do LODs go to? So LODs are language of destination flight attendants. So if you're flying to Shanghai, you will have flight attendants on your flight that speak Chinese or Mandarin. If you're flying to Costa Rica, you will have flight attendants that speak Spanish. And this was an interesting question, because a lot of people don't even know about LODs. And I don't even think the person that asked the question speaks another language, but I feel like the person that asked the question is actually already a flight attendant. But anyway, LODs go to any base that they're needed. This is another thing that depends on the airline. I don't know how other airlines do it, but most of the time, if you're LOD, of course, you're going to go to a base that offers quite a few international flights, depending on the language you speak. Number 34, can I choose my base? Absolutely, you can. So they will give you a list of bases to choose from. Most of the times you will not know your base until you get to training. Just because the airline may have 20 different bases, that doesn't mean all those bases will be open. But you are able to transfer to the base that you want once they start accepting transfers. So I was originally based in Minneapolis, and I was there for about 9 months. I didn't get my transfer until February. I graduated training in June. So it took a while for me to transfer, but some people get their transfers in 2 or 3 months. Some end up really enjoying where their first base, ended up staying there, not even going where they originally wanted. I've also been based in New York, but I just did like a 1 month base swap just to kind of like, you know, change the scenery a bit, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, bases, that's something that I would just, don't even worry about it until training. If you want to be a flight attendant, apply, and you'll figure out your base soon. Well, once you get there. 35, have you ever commuted, and is it best to get a crash pad? So yes, I have commuted to and from Minneapolis, which is where I was first based, as I mentioned. Now, I did not get a crash pad, and that was just a personal preference, because I don't really do well with living with people that I don't know. But I know, like, I mean, getting a crash pad is just kind of, it does make your life easier. But it depends on where the crash pad is, if you have transportation to and from the airport. It also depends on where you live, like you currently live. Because I live in Atlanta, and there were a lot of flights, at least 10 flights a day to and from Minneapolis. So it just made it easy for me to like commute a few hours before my trip, or commute back home after my trip. But if you live in like a small town that maybe only has 2 or 3 flights per day, or if you have a double commute, meaning you may have, like I know someone that would have to commute from Louisiana to Atlanta and then Atlanta to Minneapolis. So in that case, yeah, it may be best to get a crash pad. I do have a whole video on commuting, so I will leave that down in the description box. But it's definitely something to think about before you apply, and just kind of see what works for you. Like maybe moving to the base is just what's best. It really depends. Question 36. Does the airline provide luggage? Most airlines, yes, provide luggage or some sort of like uniform luggage points, something where you're able to purchase your luggage. Now, when I first started, I'm pretty sure I bought my own luggage. I'm almost, someone bought luggage for me, which is really nice. When you become a flight attendant, usually you will have like family or friends that are like, well, what do you need? What do you need? And luggage, tell them that. Actually, go ahead and tell your family now, look, I'm applying to become a flight attendant, okay? When I get this job, I'm gonna need y'all to buy my luggage. But I believe most airlines do provide some sort of allotment for luggage. Now, I don't know if that's something that you have to pay back with some airlines. I feel like I've heard that sometimes. It all depends, but don't worry about your luggage. You'll get it somehow. Also got the question just touching on luggage. Does it have to be a certain type of luggage? Yes. So they want everyone to be uniform. You can't carry a little pink sparkly bag on your trips with you. Most flight attendants have black luggage. Most companies work with certain luggage travel brands to provide luggage for flight attendants. So they will recommend what you should get, or they will tell you that this particular luggage is required, and that's what you'll go with. Question 37, how do you deal with turbulence? Personally, I sit my butt down. That's what I do. Turbulence is serious, y'all, and I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, you are in a metal tube. I have heard of flight attendants hitting the freaking ceiling and break. This one flight attendant broke her back, had to land in the aisle. I mean, this is serious. Shattered knees, concussions, tons of broken bones. So turbulence, no, don't go to the bathroom. Sit in your seat, buckle your seat belt, tighten that thing. That's how I deal with turbulence. If I feel some bumps, I'm like, all right, y'all, I'm out. I'm going to my seat. There's been several times where it's like real bumpy and passengers will be like, oh, can I get another Diet Coke? Like, did you not feel those bumps? I can barely walk down the aisle when you asking me for cookies. 38, this is a lot of questions. I'm running out of breath. My mouth is dry. The water's not working anymore. So 38, have you ever met anyone famous on your flights? Yes, I have. No one like I was in awe, like, oh my gosh, but there have been people that I recognize, like, oh yeah, so-and-so, she's on that show. There's been like football players, like and their wives. There's been actors and stuff. 39, how does pregnancy and being a flight attendant work? So if you get pregnant, okay, trying to pop out some babies, but you're a flight attendant, most airlines will let you just be out and not work because, it's not like a regular job where you're sitting at a desk or you can just freely move around. You're eventually going to get pretty big. My airline lets us go out the moment we find out we're pregnant. Like, as soon as you pee on the stick, literally you can call, okay? Even if you ain't gone to the doctor yet, you can call and be like, yep, just peed on the stick, I'm pregnant, not coming to work today. That sounds so bad. But no, seriously, I don't know how other airlines do it. When I get pregnant, I'm gonna just be chilling at the house, okay? Because your girl ain't gonna be working for a good year or so. Question 40, can I be a single mom and be a flight attendant? Absolutely. I know a ton of single moms. I know a ton of moms. A lot of people ask this question like, oh my gosh, I always wanted to be a flight attendant, but I have kids. Girl, first of all, for my company, there's like 24,000 of us. Everybody got kids. Like, legit, everybody has kids. What do you think? We're just not out here multiplying? Like, no, everyone has kids. A support system is important, but it's not like you're gone for 7 days at a time. You may be gone for 2 nights, You don't necessarily even have to be gone for 2 nights. You can, like yesterday, I worked from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can work from 9 to 5. Like, there are day trips, there are 2-day trips, there are 3-day trips. Figure out what works for you. If you do have a spouse or a support system, I mean, this is your career. Like, people travel for work all the time, so you can do it. Everyone. Every flight attendant I know has kids, okay? Unless they're like my age and, you know, just waiting for their husband. Question 41, I got a question about crew members. Like, how are your crew members? And, you know, this is, I mean, I can go on and on about crew members, but you change crew every time you fly. So these aren't people that you're really like building relationships with. I mean, you have like a 3-day relationship with them and you probably will never see them again. But it's pretty cool. Like, you meet people, there's jump seat talk. You may tell them your whole life story. You may listen to their whole life story. You give each other advice and you never see each other again and they forget your name by the next day, you know? I mean, crew members are pretty cool. Everyone has a different personality, so that's something to deal with. I personally like flying with smaller crews. Like, I'm not a big fan of international. It's too many personalities for me to deal with at once. I like 3 or 4 people. I'm just a very intimate person, so that works for me. Question 42. Oh, this was a huge question. Is it possible to maintain a relationship as a flight attendant? Absolutely. Okay, so a lot of y'all know that I am single right now. Me being a flight attendant has absolutely nothing to do with me being single, okay? I had a great relationship as a flight attendant. I mean, I think I had one of the best relationships as a flight attendant, like being gone all the time, and it made my relationship so much better. Now, I can't say the same for other people because I've heard of girls breaking up with their man and, you know, men leaving their woman and all types. I heard of some crazy things, but it's definitely possible. Communication is important in any relationship, and it definitely is important if you're constantly traveling. Trust is a huge thing because you're not with the person all the time. I think it makes it a little bit harder if you live together because you're used to like sleeping in the bed with that person every night. You're used to seeing them when you get off work, and that changes when you become a flight attendant. But it's nice to like have your man drop you off at the airport. Bye, babe. Kiss, kiss. Okay, see you in 2 days. And they come pick you up and you're like super excited and you go like to date night and stuff. I mean, I think it was great. I have no complaints. I have absolutely, yeah, I literally have no complaints. But I also was dating somebody that like really supported me in this new career. So I definitely believe that you have to be with somebody that supports this career decision. I mean, he was for it. Like, yes, like we get to travel the world. Go to work so we can go travel the world when you get back. Okay, so question 43. Now this is my current life, dating as a flight attendant. A hot mess, child. A hot mess. Because when you are single as a flight attendant, first of all, you come in contact with so many dang on men. Good Lord, okay? And it just, child, they just out of control. I don't know what it is, but like when I was in a relationship, I don't know if I had like not available on my forehead, but I didn't get a lot of men that would try to talk to me. The moment I became single, it's literally like I have single and available on my forehead. Even if you're, you know, like trying to date somebody that you didn't meet on a plane or anything, people just aren't accustomed to this lifestyle. Like they aren't accustomed to the person they're dating being gone or like not being able to talk sometimes, or the different time zones. Like you're dating someone in Atlanta and it's 10 o'clock at night, but you're flying to California, you may still be in flight when they're going to sleep. By the time you get to your hotel, it may be 2 a.m. their time, like Atlanta time. So, I mean, it's definitely doable, communication and trust. But have somebody that supports you if you're dating, because these men folk out here, child, and these women folk, they just be acting up, child, you know. Fun facts, flight attendants are in like the top 5. I think we're like number 3 people that never get married, like careers that never get married. That is crazy, right? Like, I was created to be someone's wife. Y'all not even gonna put that on me right now. All right, almost finished, guys. So question 44, where have I traveled as a flight attendant? So when I first became a flight attendant, before I even got on the line, like right after training, I went to Mexico, I went to Cozumel and Cancun. I've gone to Hong Kong, I've gone to Colombia, Jamaica twice, Aruba, Hawaii, and I have vlogs for all of these. Rome, Italy, Amsterdam, Paris, London. I've pretty much been to almost every state, but don't quote me on that. Oh, Costa Rica, I've been to Costa Rica twice. My next travel destination is Cuba. I really want to go to Cuba, and I want to hit up, I want to hit up Thailand and Bali, Singapore, all those spots. I want to go to Asia and really like explore. 45. Can you have a side hustle or other jobs while being a flight attendant? Absolutely, because you have so many off days. I mean, compared to a regular person, I definitely think that having like a side hustle or another job is amazing. I mean, I don't know a lot of flight attendants that have other jobs, but I have YouTube. So, you know, if you want to be a YouTuber, go ahead and do that. Being a nanny, I mean, I was a nanny before. I could totally still nanny now, depending on the needs of the family. I mean, having your own business, I think is pretty cool as a flight attendant. And like I said, the one girl, she was a lawyer, so live your best life, sis. 46. How can I cope with fear of flying? Take a deep breath. Pray. Anything that you are fearful of, I can only suggest prayer. I've never been afraid to fly. My mom's a retired flight attendant, so I've been flying my entire life. I was like 3 years old eating, you know, like ice cream sundaes in first class. So I just never been scared to fly, but the only way to get over a fear of something is to do it, right? So it's not that bad. Just go. Take you some snacks, watch a movie, and you good. 20, no, we're on 47. Have I ever had any emergencies? No, thank goodness. Let me tell you, prayer works, okay? The only emergencies I've had are like medicals, like minor medicals. Question 48, how do I deal with loud noises on the plane and protect my ears? So our planes are pretty safe as far as, I mean, the noise is definitely loud. You can wear earplugs, like, yeah, earplugs if you need to, but there are no planes in our fleet not anything that's gonna damage our ears. Interesting question. Question 49, what are my flight attendant essentials? Chapstick, lip gloss, hand lotion, because baby, when I tell you, you're dry, okay? That is something that I did not take seriously when I first became a flight attendant. People would be like, yeah, you're gonna get dehydrated. You have to drink a lot of water, you'll be dry. Like, I didn't think they was for real. No, my skin was dry, my face, my hands, my hair, everything. So moisturize, drink a ton of water, like all the time. What else? Essentials, a nail file, because like I'm always breaking nails. The little can popper thing, that's like a big essential. So yeah, get that thing to pop your cans with. It's like a can ring or something. I'll probably do a separate video on this once I can like get my thoughts together. Question 50, last question. Whew, it's a long video. Why did I become a flight attendant? I became a flight attendant to travel. No, okay. I mean, literally every flight attendant becomes a flight attendant to travel. But as I mentioned, I'm a very like intimate person. So I like to build relationships with people. I like to be around people. I'm a people person. And I felt like being a flight attendant would kind of let my personality shine. And yeah, I just, you know, it's cool. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons why I became a flight attendant, but basic, there you go. But don't go to your interview and when they ask you that, be like, oh, I want to travel. I love to travel. No, don't say that, like, at all, actually. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope I answered, actually, you know what? I know I answered all your questions. Let me say, I hope that you guys got the answers you were looking for. I hope that you have a little bit more insight on the flight attendant life. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. I mean, y'all got me out here wanting to quote the safety demo. I feel so excited I'm done with this video. Okay, no, but I'm not gonna do it. Maybe another video. If you just want me to like be random and say the safety demo. Your seatbelt must be securely fastened. No. Oh, that's another question. Question 51, bonus question. A lot of people ask this. I didn't get this question in my DMs, but people always ask, do you have to memorize the announcements? No, there's something that you can read if you need it. But if you say something 1,000 times and you hear it,
50, 100 million times, okay? No, really, if you hear something like 500 million times, you will not need to read anymore, because it's just like in there. I can say it when I'm drunk, I can say it when I'm asleep. I can tell you guys right now, but I'm thirsty and hungry, so your seatbelt must be securely fastened at this time. To fasten, insert the metal tip into the buckle, tighten by pulling on the strap so it's low and tight across your lap. To release the belt, lift the top of the buckle. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is on. Even if the sign is off, keep your seatbelt fastened in case we experience unexpected rough air. Federal regulations require all passengers to comply with crew instructions, posted placards, and lighted information signs. Smoking, including the use of e-cigarettes or smokeless chewing tobacco, is not allowed on any flight. No, all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed. Maybe I will really do the whole thing in a video one day. Maybe. We'll see. I will see y'all in the next video, though. Bye!